Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 16 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Druid gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So I don't think we have any admin notes today, so we can skip right into the recap of last week, which was a good one. We finished up all of our questing inside of the Underdark. So we've explored all the different areas of it. We finished off with making sure that the Duergar encampment in the Duergar village was cleared out. And at the end of last episode, we took the skiff across the lake and ended up in the Grymforge. We used our tadpole abilities to secure a safe passage on the other side of Grymforge, and that is where we're going to pick up today. The Grymforge is a very large area for exploration as well. Not as large as the Underdark, but still there's a lot of opportunities here for questing, for interactions, and all that sort of stuff before you get to the penultimate encounter in the early access, which is the Forge Guardian itself. So without any further ado, I think we'll just go ahead and jump right in here with where we left off, and we will begin working our way around the Duergar occupied areas of the Grymforge and pick up some quests and see what we can do to kind of explore this area a little bit before we get into the main areas of the questing again. So, like I say, pretty big area. I don't think we'll get through it all today, but we'll get a large portion of it done. So we may end up with Nere and Grim left for next week. So here we are inside the Grymforge, and we looked at this last time. This is actually a Dark Justiciar Sharan temple here. We have a waypoint that is up here at the top of the stairs, right over here. So we can enter and leave this area at any time that we would like. So starting off just by holding Alt, you can see that we have a battered note over here and a map. Most of the barrels and things like that in this opening area are going to be marked as steel. So you want to be very careful what you're clicking on, especially when you're doing something like this. It's always easier just to hold Alt and go pick up the grubby map and the battered note, and then we can look at them from our inventory. So we'll go ahead and read the grubby map. So it talks about the Ebon Lake that we just crossed, and it talks about the fact that they have sent an exploration party over to the other side, and they were caught up in dealing with the Myconids over there. So it's just an explanation of that. The battered note here is talking about Thrinn being in charge of the area over here of this entire encampment or operation going on over here, and she's giving orders, and we'll see more of that here in a little bit. So from this area, there's not really any other option for us to do but to go up these stairs over here. So now we're going to start exploring, and once we get up here, we have an option, and we're going to go ahead and head over this way. And as part of this, we're going to drink a potion of animal speaking, and that's going to last until long rest. So we can go down here and talk to Mermath.
Don't like strangers here, but Absolute must have took you in. Me? Who else? My spiders sussed him out of hiding, then Nere taught him a thing or two, and I let him fly. Caught him sniffing around. Easy marks. Had the stench of the Toplands. Hung them here as a warning. Ain't no one drugs with Clan Flameshade.
Okay, so find out that the drow have been executed, and these put them in these cages up here. They are again marked as steel, so I'm not going to search them. But if we come around here, up here on this platform, we see a group of spiders. Okay, there's also another drow over here. Looks like there's some blue cap, but again, marked as steel. We're going to talk to Lurzanta here.
I speak true, brothers. You know it in your hearts. You know it in your very souls.
We need no Lolth, no Spider Queen. Father Mermuth is the head of Clan Lur. He hatched us, raised us, feeds us.
What care we for his business here? He keeps us small, keeps us contained. We should be with the Spider Queen, revered, adored.
Okay, so we can do a religion check here and see if we can get any bonuses out of this. Just a straight up 50-50 shot. We can add in guidance here. Okay, so we're starting off the day well, I see. Okay, so we do have 2 inspirations. We'll roll again, just for the fun of it.
You've read that harming spiders is illegal among Lolth's faithful, and often punishable by death.
Father Mermuth is our past. Lolth is our future.
These spiders are loyal to the local Duergar. In the event of a fight, they will join the fray against you, with slavering enthusiasm.
Okay, so that opened up this top option here. If you didn't pass that check, you would either have to make a deception check or a persuasion check to persuade these spiders to give up the fight with the Duergar. So we're going to, again, click on the one that we opened up here.
Xanta, is it so?
I've heard the very same. Come, brothers, follow me into her hairy embrace.
Her embrace.
We're ready.
We follow.
Yes. Now, brothers, our new dawn awaits.
Drugs with Clan Flameshade.
Okay, so now the spiders have left, and what that really does is if you choose to go through this area with a fight, then the spiders aren't going to join you. That's the only thing that that gets you from a benefit standpoint. So now we can see over here we've got some dead bodies, so we're going to go ahead and make our way over there, and we're going to do it fairly slowly here. And again, checking most of these barrels, like I say, are all going to be marked as steel.
They're starting to rot.
Know any good gnome jokes?
You got a brain of your own. Use it.
I'm afraid.
Shit. Forget I am.
Unless you're here to kick some stiffs lakeside, I suggest you bugger off. Nah, rockfall smashed them. Can't have them stinking up the place. The half that weren't crushed are digging the true soul out of the wreckage. You gotta be kidding. These trash don't have nothing on them but rocks.
Rocks.
Okay, so now you have a perception check here, and this is why I went into it with my Druid, is because of all the bonuses that I'm going to get from this. So it's only a 10 DC, I have an 8 to 11, so I can really only fail this with a nat 1.
You spot a shiny trinket on one of the corpses.
Okay, so now you have 2 options here. a sleight of hand or a deception check. My sleight of hand is going to give me a dexterity bonus. My DC is now 20 for this check. Okay, so it's certainly not easy. I can use advantage here with the Scroll of Gaseous Form, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to be able to roll twice here and have a bonus of 4 to 7, so I'm going to have to roll a 16 to guarantee that I make this. That's a high number to roll, so we'll see what happens here. Wow. Okay, so we can roll again. We've still got advantage, so we'll try one more time. Wow. Okay. So it's going to be that kind of day. A feast or famine day. Either nothing above a 4 or nat 20s. So it ought to be an interesting day.
Quit sniffing around. You're starting to get on my nerves.
Nerves.
Okay, so moving around and looking at the corpses, you can see again, they're all marked as steel. However, we do have a book here that we can pick up. And just moving around this side, we now see that we have a heavy chest here. We can open it up and there's an arrow of ice that will go to Astarion. Okay. So, now we have some doors here, and we have a plaque.
Eat and drink freely, for the lady doth come.
Okay, the door is locked here. So, for us to get in, we're going to have to lockpick it. So, we don't need to keep gaseous form up anymore. But, you know, it's not hurting anything. And if we run into other stuff, it might prove advantageous. So we'll leave it up for now. How long is it going to last? Okay, so it's going to last as long as he's concentrating on it. So that's fine. So we'll have Astarion lockpick the door. Hey, total bonus of 12. Okay, so now we can come in here to what is labeled as the kitchen. Now, this is an interesting area. Nothing in here is marked steel. There's a lot to search. And a lot of these items are made out of silver. And these are very lightweight, while at the same time worth a good amount of gold. So you can see through all of these that you just have somebody search all of these things and have them pick up everything just to sell it off later on.
In for a surprise?
Okay, a lot of camp supplies here.
A nightfall feast. Though I'm not sure it should be quite so ripe.
Okay, so we...
Drink, followed by murder in Shah's name. Barbaric.
So that's what you learned, is that this is now a feast where Sharan worshippers, you know, feasted up and then killed everybody afterwards. So it's a rather interesting ritual that's gone on here. Now, the items that are on this table, there's a lot of silver up here as well, mixed in with a bunch of other stuff. But you can't hold Alt to pick any of this up. It's all individually clicked. So just zoom in, be very careful on what you click on, and you should be able to pick everything up that's silver. Okay, and again, you don't have to do this. This is simply in the interest of an easy way to collect gold. If you feel you have enough, or you just simply don't want to spend the time doing it, then you certainly don't have to. For me, I don't ever skip out on basically free gold. So I'm going to be picking all of these things up. Being careful not to pick up any of the rotten food or anything like that sitting on the table. If you do, you can just drop it after you're done. And you get a little tired of the Duergar outside trying to knock the corpses into the lake, but it is what it is. Okay, so we have some more silverware and glasses over here, and this should be about it. One more fork. And yes, that's about it here. So we do have some blue cap that we can pick up, and some more vases that we can inspect.
I have no time for small talk.
Okay, and we do have some skeletons that are laying around that you can search as well, because we picked up a pitted key. A dagger that we can just sell off later. And then we again have another table over here with a bunch of silver servery items on it. And there is a place down here to sell these items, so don't feel like you're going to be overburdened with them or anything like that. We are going to be able to get rid of them. Okay, some of these can be a little difficult in here. I know there was one little pixel in here somewhere to pick up the silver spoon. There it is. And this silver tray doesn't look like we're able to pick it up. Okay. So here on the dinnerware searchables, we have some more silver items we can take. Another silver fork. Don't need the cooking pot. More silver items. And some more items that we can take. Okay, so now we can make our way back here to this back area. And we're going to approach this slowly.
What's that?
Okay, so we found a button on the wall over here. And we'll explore that here in a second. Looking at the items that are up here, doesn't appear that there's anything that is silver or anything like that. But we can search... Whoops, we don't want the cauldron. We can search up here. And to do this, you have to jump your character up here on top. Okay. And the vase we can search, and doesn't appear to be anything else up here. So now we can head back down here, and we can press this button. Okay. And now we're into this new area in here. You can see that there's a chest right off the bat. You can also see what looks like some dripping acid pools up here. So we will start over here. Don't know why I have to do that. Okay, and we'll go over and we'll search the heavy chest. Some gold, some camp supplies, and a necklace that should have gone to Gale. Okay. And now coming around this way.
And move.
Okay, you see we have a hidden stash here. Okay, so we can pick up the rock. Now, I don't think I can do that in gaseous form.
One true way.
And then we can search the hidden stash. Okay, and some hide armor that we don't need, we'll end up selling.
What to do?
Okay, now for this, I am going to split the group. I'm going to bring everybody else back here.
Flaggets will be done.
Out of the way, and might as well put them in hiding as well. And I'm going to take my Druid in gaseous form up here to the top. And you can see that there's another acid pool up here. Okay, it doesn't affect me.
I'll take
Can you pick up items in gaseous form? Ah, you can. Okay. So that's very good to know. And you can fly in gaseous form as well. So that's interesting. But I do want to have this fight. So I was hoping that I'd be able to trigger this fight in gaseous form, but it does not appear that I can. So what we're going to do instead is bring ourselves down here. We're going to have Gale cancel concentration on gaseous form. We're going to go into hiding here.
Just out of
And we're going to go up here with Astarion and trigger this. Now, this is going to be dangerous because we are going to get surprised here during this encounter. Okay. So, Astarion has a decently high armor class. I could probably go up with Jorval instead because of the higher armor class.
Nice and quiet now.
And let's go into wild shape now. That way we can absorb some of these attacks with our bear form. I think that's a better idea. Okay, so let's head up here and we'll trigger this encounter. And you can see that 3 ochre jellies spawned. Okay, and I rolled horrible on initiative, which is the other reason that you might have wanted to bring Astarion up here, so that they only get 1 round of attacks on you. But this is kind of where we are right now. We have all 3 of them right next to us here. So I think what we're going to do is cast Flaming Sphere here. Yeah, I think we'll cast it. Yeah, I think we'll cast it here. Okay. And then we're going to go back into wild shape. Okay. So we can't do anything at this point except kind of move out of the way a little bit. Okay, so it did end up breaking my concentration. I didn't want that to happen. I just wanted to be able to attack them here with my other characters.
Time to kill.
So, here are the detection cones.
Stay low.
So we can move ourselves around this way and get around behind them. So if you examine them, they have resistances to slashing weapons and lightning weapons. Okay, so piercing weapons and bludgeoning weapons are fine, but slashing weapons they have resistance to. So they're only going to take half damage from swords. So keep that in mind as you go through this encounter. I'm going to try and get Astarion here up onto the high ground. I think I can. Okay. Let's move him all the way up here and see if we can get a sneak attack ranged on this ochre jelly here. We can. Alright, so it has Bane. That took off a good chunk of its hit points. So now we can look at what other options we have going forward. So we are definitely going to get Gale into this, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to bring Gale up here onto the high ground above everybody. And you want to keep your characters a little bit separated because the ochre jellies do have a ranged attack. And you really do not want to get hit with it. So we're going to look at our spell list, and we have Fireball. And if we cast it right there, we're going to hit everybody. Now, wherever we cast it, remember, our allies are not going to be hurt by his evocation spells. So we can cast it in a location where it's going to hit all three of them, and it's not going to hurt my druid. Okay. Couple of failed saving throws and one made saving throw. So now Lae'zel. And Lae'zel, since we're not in combat, we can again look at our inventory here, because slashing weapons they're only going to take half damage from, and they're resistant to lightning as well. So we have some piercing damage here, however, from the Vision of the Absolute, which would be 5 to 12 versus 7 to 20, taking only half damage from the 2d6. So this is about the same either way, because they're going to take full damage from the fire. So I think we'll just keep her going. We don't have any bludgeoning weapons that are suitable for her, or that she's carrying right now anyway. So we'll go up here and just try and take out this ochre jelly. Okay, so we'll have disadvantage because the target is obscured, but it does have Bane.
The end comes.
Okay, so that did not left it with 1 hit point left. Great. Okay, so now this ochre jelly up here is going to get its turn, and then Gale will get another turn. Okay, so it died by fire. Great. So now Gale has an opportunity here, and we probably don't need another fireball. So let's look at our options here. So the Scorching Ray or Ray of Sickness. Path is interrupted for that one, but not for this one. And this is the one that's going to attack next. We're not going to be able to kill this, I don't think. Not unless we got some crits there. That took off 26, but it's still alive, so it's going to get a hit next. Okay, so it knocked me out of wild shape. And I'm still pretty hurt from the initial attacks. Don't forget about that. So here I should be able to hide in this location. Yes. And see if we can get a sneak attack ranged. We can. And that ends up killing that one. So now we're going to get another attack from this ochre jelly here. On our next turn, or on this turn here. So it's going to go after Jorval, and we'll see if it knocks me down or not. Okay, it did. So I'm downed. So now Lae'zel can act here, and I think we're just going to go up and again try and get a large chunk of damage done. Okay. And now we'll do another one of those. Okay, and now we will wait for our turn to come back in. Now that we're out of combat. And we will help
Action, not reaction.
Jorval up. Okay. Now, like I said, that fight, you want to have it, but that fight is difficult because you are surprised. So, and they do hit rather hard. So you end up taking a lot of damage at the start just on that surprise turn. So any way that you can find to absorb that damage is what you want to do. So we did find a helmet that's worth quite a lot of gold, as well as some malachite and a short sword here, as well as an onyx. So all things that you can sell. So here we are going to take a short rest. And that's not going to get us back up to full health, but it doesn't necessarily need to. Okay. So now we can continue on up here.
Tools and a thick rope. Someone climbed up from down below.
Okay, so there's a trap disarm toolkit that we don't need, but it's worth gold, so we can pick it up and sell it.
Stop me yet.
Okay, holding Alt, there's nothing that we can see up here. We do have some bases and a bookshelf that we can search. Okay, so we do have some spells, or some scrolls on scrolls for Gale here. And another cup, which we will send to him to sell later on. And nothing in that one. Okay, so now continuing up here, this is going the direction that we were looking at in gaseous form. Okay, so here, there's another path that you can jump to over here. Okay, so we're going to move up here. Okay, everybody made it. That's good. Nobody fell off because of the horrible pathing here into the abyss. And you can just make your way up and around here. There are some torches. And you can get an idea about how great this level or this area looks. We have an area down here that we just came through. You can see that there is another area up here that we haven't yet gotten to and explored, but we certainly will. And then out this way is the way that we came in through the main gate. Out here when we came in with the skiff. Okay. So now we're going to come over here, and there's a plaque on the wall.
Cursed.
Let feast the eyes of the faithful. Know your goddess. Know her command.
And we have an intricate door here. If you click on it, the door's locked. You can have Astarian lockpick it. However, you can also just make your way around this side. We do have a chasm creeper over here that you definitely want to pick up.
My.
I've got a long road ahead.
And we can make our way in here. So you're going to have an opportunity here to deal with an encounter that's coming up, and it's going to be a persuasion encounter. So when you look at your characters and your proficiencies and that sort of stuff that you have, you want to be able to deal with somebody or have somebody who's going to be able to deal with a persuasion. Okay, so Gale's going to have a +1 to his charisma. I've got a no modifier at all to it. If I look at what I have proficiencies. Here's my proficiency bonuses. So they're in intelligence and wisdom. So I'm also looking to see if there's a listing of my other proficiencies here. Okay, here we are. So I have perception and all of these sort of things that go into my proficiencies, but I'm getting nothing here from persuasion. So if I look at Gale here on his skills, he's going to have a +1 to persuasion. So persuasion here, I do it with Astarion, I do have persuasion proficiency. So I think I'm going to go in here with Astarion. I believe it's been a while since I've tried to play it this way, but I believe that it is persuasion that I'm going to need to do in here. But we'll see when we get to it, and if I've chosen the wrong character, then I've chosen the wrong character. We'll just have to see how it goes. So searching some burlap sacks down here. Okay, and we do want to have a quick save. And I think the game's going to give you another quick save, but you're going to need it because this can end the game in a party wipe if you do not pass the things that are happening. Because Philomeen is up here at the top, and the interaction with her is all or nothing.
Speak quickly.
Okay. Okay, so let's make sure we get Astarion up here in front.
Hold it! I swear to Iron Hand. One more step and a blow is to toast.
An ashen scent fills the air. The barrel is filled with smoke powder, but the scent is acrid, as if contaminated somehow. Or much, much more concentrated.
As an expert on the subject, my dear lady, I'd like to point out that blowing oneself up is never the solution.
Shut your mouth, Hoon, or I'll shut you down.
Okay. So we do have a rogue check here as well. You're always going to have one on this encounter, one class-specific check.
Damn right, Fecker. Now shut your face before I melt it clean off. I know what you are. One of Nere's cult goons. Sailed right in. Better to die in this shit heap than rot in Moonrise. You want me? Come get me.
Okay, so here we do have an intimidation check, but yes, we do have 2 persuasion checks here. And I am wearing the ring, which is giving me a -1 from charisma, or on my charisma. But I think we are going to go ahead and go this way. Now it's a 15 DC, and remember, we don't have any rolls left here. So let's see what happens with this. We may end up having a reload. Okay, we are definitely going to have...
I'm gonna blow and you're getting chummy. Drug off, prick slit. Gerdel Iron Hand, hear me now! Set me free!
Okay. Interesting.
Well met. I am a magical projection of Gale of Waterdeep, and if you see this manifestation, that means I have prematurely perished. However, for reasons that cannot be disclosed, it is of vital importance that my death be remedied at your earliest convenience. You may rest assured that I do not speak out of self-preservation alone. Many lives depend on my return to the living within the span of 2 days. I trust I've made myself clear. I have upon my deceased person a magical item that can accomplish my return. But such is the value and rarity that it is protected by a multi-layered security protocol. I will now explain the protocol. Step 1 is to retrieve from my person a pouch I wear over my heart. Next, you must unthread the purple seam that seals it in a counterclockwise fashion. Do not touch any other colored strand. Inside the pouch, you will find a folded letter and a tiny flute. Unfold the letter and note the markings in the top and bottom corners. These are the notes you will need to play. Starting from the bottom right, play the notes in correct order, clockwise this time. Upon completion of the tune, a magma method will appear, which will pose the following question. Iskcha Chisnaga. This is Ignan for what is my name? The answer is Kasi Trak Ash. Pronounce the name correctly, and the method will breathe on the letter. Stay clear, because the little scamp can melt metal. Words will now appear on the letter's surface, effectively turning the letter into a scroll of true resurrection. Use it to bring me back to life.
Okay, so interesting.
Excellent. Now repeat my instructions back to me, please. Humor me. I need to be absolutely certain you understand.
Okay, so now you have to repeat these steps back to Gale of what he just told you. So I hope you were taking notes.
And next?
Okay, so here you unthread the purple seam counterclockwise.
Right. You then have access to the letter and the flute. Go on.
Okay, so you start in... You unfold the note, you read the letters in the top and bottom. You start in the bottom right corner.
Remember to play them clockwise. And after that?
The method should appear. And you should say its name, which is this right here.
Correct. But pay attention to the trach part. Ch is back of the throat. And so we have gone through the necessary steps again. It is gratifying to see your memory does not fail you. Best of luck with the protocol. May my cold, dead hands soon be refilled with the warmth of life so they can shake yours in gratitude.
Okay. So, I wasn't expecting to actually survive that. However, normally in the previous patch, that was just a your party has died thing, and you just restarted. So,
Let's get going.
let's go here, and we should have Gale's pouch somewhere.
Assume nothing. Can't give up now.
Okay, I thought it said that we received it, didn't we? Okay, well, let's go search his body and see if it's... Okay, great. Okay, so... Wow, what is knocking me down? I have necrosis. Okay.
Looking ahead.
So... Let's change to this. Okay, that did not remove necrosis. Oh, that's because I'm close to Gale. Okay, so that's what that is. Gale is exuding necrotic aura. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm gonna go in here with Lae'zel and search his body.
Worth examining.
Right there.
An efficient path.
Now I'm gonna get back out, and now I have access to Gale's pouch. Right here. Okay. So now going to open it.
The pouch is sealed with differently colored strands of thread.
Okay, so you're going to unthread the purple thread in a counterclockwise fashion.
As the purple thread becomes undone, the pouch opens to reveal a letter and flute inside.
Okay, so... Now we can read the scroll. Okay, so the page is blank except for 4 letters, one in every corner. We have to start from the bottom right and go clockwise. So the bottom right corner is D, and going clockwise, then it would be the bottom left. So E, then the top left is A, and the top right is D. It spells the word dead. D-E-A-D. Okay? So now if we... equip
This is
the flute.
Gale kept on his person. A faint magical aura envelops its wooden surface. The flute awaits with bated breath.
Okay, so we're going to play a D. I'm going to play an E. Play an A. And finally play another D. Okay, so now you need to answer with this one here. Okay, so that gave us a scroll of true resurrection. Okay, now there's a couple of different ways that you can go about doing this. Gale is dead, so we now have a scroll of true resurrection, which is very, very nice. So let's see if we can actually take a long rest here and resurrect Gale inside or using withers instead. I don't know if we can. Like I said, I haven't played it this way, but let's see. If we have to use the Scroll of True Resurrection, we will. But we'll see if we have to or not. So let's look around and find Withers.
How much farther can I go?
There he is. And let's go talk to
I
him.
want to have a word.
We meet again. As predicted, I shall be here in thy camp for whenever thou hast need of my services. A mending of the threads between life and death. Should thou or any of thy compatriots perish, I will cleave soul to body once more. A matter of coin. Very well. Speak their name, and it shall be done. This is the price of balance. Well counted. I recommend keeping my distance for a moment. By doom and dusk, I strike thy name from the archives. Rise.
Okay. And Gale knocked me out. Okay. So when he says keep your distance, he means keep your distance. So be careful of that. Okay. So now we can talk to Gale here.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
My word, you did it! Oh, it's good to be alive. My hands are still cold, so that handshake will have to wait, but in the meantime, thank you.
But a necessary one. Scrolls of true resurrection don't grow on trees, you know. That said, I assume you have some questions for me. Only fair to warn you I've precious few answers to spare. I apologize if that sounds thankless. It's just that some secrets simply cannot be revealed.
Okay, so now we can have some conversations here. So we've got a DC of 8, we've got a total bonus of 7, so only a nat 1 will fail it.
I did say that, and I did mean it. And I do suppose that after all you've done for me, I should be at least a little bit forthcoming. Tell you what, I will answer one question that you may have, to the best of my ability, if I can. When I told you I need powerful magic to keep my condition under control, I didn't tell you why. Well, here's part of the why. I am dangerous. Not because I want to be, but because of an error I made in the past. It makes me dangerous, even in death. You brought me back to life, and for that I am in your debt. But we're surrounded by danger. It could happen again. If it does, bring me back again. You must, for the sake of many.
Okay, so now Gale is going to take his place again back up here in the normal location with your companions. So while we're up here, we'll go ahead and check for some conversations.
What's up for discussion?
Well met.
Okay, nothing new from Will.
What can I do for you, my friend?
Nothing new from Astarion.
Shah's blessings upon you.
How can I help? The instructions were easy enough, weren't they? If slightly elaborate. Like I said, I'm dangerous even in death. I'm merely trying to protect those around me. I find that a healthy amount of theatrics, a voice from the beyond, a magic flute, a friendly, if highly combustible magma method, tends to make for a more compelling case. If nothing else, I'm sure I piqued your curiosity.
Okay. And last will be Lae'zel.
Speak quickly.
Nothing new there either. So let's go into our inventories here. And first we can move... Whoops. Okay. So now we did pick up a flute from Gale. And we can put that in as his performance, since that is his flute anyway. But now we are left with the Scroll of Resurrection. So let's go ahead and move over some of these other items that we're going to have him sell. And we'll send the blue cap to our camp. Okay, so picked up a couple things. First, like I say, is the Scroll of True Resurrection. Now, this I'm going to put on Astarion. A Scroll of True Resurrection is kind of like the Scrolls of Revivify that we had, except True Resurrection, you return to life with all of your hit points. So it can be an incredibly powerful item to get characters back in the fight if they die. That's why I wanted to use Withers to resurrect Gale instead of using this, because this is much more useful on its own, just as an item to have. The other thing that we picked up is the Fetish of Caladuran Smooth Hands, and that is a ring that lets you cast invisibility. So the Sparks wall here was just giving us resistance to lightning damage, but this is now going to let Astarion go invisible, and I can move this Sparks wall ring over here. So where did it go? Okay, didn't go into... There we go. So yes, it lets him cast invisibility. So again, with the Shadow of Menzoberranzan allowing him to cast invisibility as a class action, if we ever do need to get rid of the Shadow of Menzoberranzan, we have the Fetish to allow him to cast invisibility as well. So again, for a thief character to be able to move all around the battlefield unhindered, that is a very, very nice thing to have. So we can also go back here and remove the Lesser Restoration Amulet. We don't need it. So let's go to our Traveler's Chest, which is around here somewhere. Right there.
What's in here?
And get our food and sleep through the night. So that's 9 plus 30. That's 39. Do we have anything that is just 1? Okay, we do. So we'll split those. And that should be 40. Okay, so it picked that one instead. We don't. We want to pick that. So we do have some camp supplies in our... Yeah, we know about these. We do have a couple of blue cap that we'll get or send to camp here. Okay, so let's look at our inventory and get rid of the blue caps that we've picked up. Right here. We'll send those to camp. The rest were these camp supplies here. We actually aren't going to be utilizing any of these. Same thing with the hay spore sack. We're not going to be utilizing that. So while we're here, let's look at Gale's spell book and see if he can learn any more spells. So I think we can probably learn all of these. I'm not going to have a need to cast these on my own, so we'll just learn them. Okay, so we are back to where we were here. Philomeen is dead. The smoke powder has been blown up. Okay, so let's do some searching around here. Holding Alt, there is some fish here we can pick up.
Just another crate. Looks empty.
Now moving up here, holding Alt, we have some scrolls.
Seek and you shall find me.
That Gale can pick up.
All's well that
We also have
ends.
some gold
Not
here.
as bad as it could have. Might be useful.
And we can search Philomeen's corpse. There's nothing there. And again, the smoke powder's blown up. So this is going to lead us into another rather difficult way of doing something I would prefer not to have done. But these tablets are basically talking about what has happened down here in the Sharan Temple. So you can read through these, and it basically lets you know, yes, that this is a Sharan Temple, and that Ketheric Thorm was the one writing all of this, and it's really a backup of the lore of what is happening, or what has happened down here in this area. So
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
So we can go back over here to this corner, and there's a skeleton here. Nothing here. There's a trap disarm toolkit that Gale can pick up to sell. And there's a hand-drawn map here.
Still alive, so that's progress.
Okay, that map, if we look at it, it's just basically a map. It says there are points of interest, and it says the words hiding spot are written within the upper level circle. The lower level circle is identified as smoke powder reserve, which is important because if you do fail this, you still need to have smoke powder to complete this quest. So now, if we look at our map, we have a couple of things that have popped up. Here's the smoke powder reserve. This is where Philomeen's hiding spot was. We're not going to be able to complete that quest that way. But we also have... Okay, so we don't have that section of the map open yet. It doesn't look like. No, we don't. Once we do it, you'll see there's another hidden stash. But we now know that there's a smoke powder reserve down here in this area.
Light on my feet.
Okay, so again, you can pick through the door with the Starian if you'd like.
Simple.
You don't have to, since we already know the way out and the way in.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Okay, and now we can head back down the way that we were. And, in fact, we can take the waypoint to the Grymforge. Okay. So now, back down here the way we were, we do have something else that we can look at. We took the way around this way.
Will that be all, your pissiness?
When it's not, you'll be the
Okay, but if we come in here, we do have some wooden barrels we can search, and some trunks and crates. Okay, so there is a whole bunch of camp supplies here. And we're going to Oh, did I actually... I must have accidentally drank one of those. Because I appeared to be drunk for a second. So we're going to make our way into here.
What's that?
Okay, and you can see that we passed our perception check and there's a button here on the wall. And this button you can see is leading us into where the smoke powder reserve is. Okay, so if we make our way up to the chest, it doesn't appear to be trapped. Some gold, some more camp supplies. Scroll of color spray that will go to Gale. Okay, and if we hold Alt, you can see there's a couple of smoke powder satchels over there.
Securing.
Okay, so we had Lazelle pick those up. She's got 3 of those. She also has a smoke powder bomb here. She's got 3 of those as well. So she has enough smoke powder to be able to do the job. It's just not the smoke powder vial, which makes the use for it incredibly easy. The smoke powder bombs and the smoke powder satchels catch things on fire, which you will see once we get there can be problematic sometimes. Okay, so we're gonna go up here with Astarion again. And we'll just do a quick save.
Anything to that absolute talk,
Hey, stick shit! Another hour of stick shit?
Piss pot.
You flirt. Now jump to it. Or it's up to the lift and straight to the shadows.
I think we've found 2 Duergar who are gonna get spit in their drinks.
True soul, yeah? Tell the sergeant we won't move a pebble. Hold out your hands, hoon.
You heard the man. Let's see him.
Less asking, more showing. 5 working fingers, nice and bony. Prime for digging. You want Nere? You claw him out. My drinking hand's busy. And you'll appreciate how few shits I have to give you. Hey! Stick shit! Where's my drink?
Coming right up, piss pot.
Stick shit talks like smug, and he wrecked that shroom village.
And then shagged it.
Here's to smug, nasty prick.
Okay, so we got a couple of really not nice Duergar. So we'll talk to the deep gnome here.
I heard the piss pot. You're a true soul, same as Nere. So like I said, piss off. Ha! Fuller was mad as a rutting badger, but she weren't a friend of any true soul. What about piss off, do you? Hold on. You aren't just talking shit, are you? Then shh. Keep it low. Don't let them hear you. Now, why in the hottest hells would a true soul be helping me? Fine. Let's say I believe you. You want to kill these peckers. I'm not complaining. But you better finish the job, 'cause I'll be the one to suffer if you don't. Ain't you hearing me, prickhole? Piss off to every last hell.
Okay.
How about a thank you?
How about I chop off your pecker?
So some rather not nice people. And we do have an iron fence over here.
Take a big swig.
Shit. You got one of Nere's moon lanterns, Jarg? One of them pixie lamps. If you're headed to Moonrise, you won't last without it.
Toplands are clogged with the Death Dark. Choke you in no time.
You daft? It's there in the name. Shadows up there black as the lower dark. A few sniffs could fell an ogre.
He speaks of the Shadow Curse. Forget Nere and the Moon Lantern. If we're this close to the surface, we must chance the journey. Chuk. More time wasted. If only you feared the Ghaith parasite half as much as you fear the dark.
Okay, so this is the way to head out toward Moonrise Towers. However, if you don't have a moon lantern, you're not going to be able to get through. You're not going to be able to acquire the moon lantern in early access. You will get a broken version of it, but you can't acquire the actual moon lantern because, again, you're not supposed to be able to head to Moonrise Towers at this time at all anyway. So there are a couple more chests and barrels that we can search up here before we start heading up.
No Duergar built this fort. They don't have the imagination.
But the chiseling is remarkable.
Whoever built
Okay,
it
we have
made
another
it
plaque
for
here.
ages.
Come into her shadow. Let all that is past be forgotten.
And now for this, I'm going to
I'm thinking. Probably inhabited by whoever those skeletons were.
swap out something if I have it. Doesn't look like I have it. I was looking for the circlet that raises your intelligence to 18. So I don't have it. We're going to go into here with Gale, whose intelligence is 18 anyway.
Gold accents aren't too tarnished yet.
I'm going to talk to Stonemason Gargan here.
If you aren't here to inspect the stonework, then get lost. And if you are, well, I doubt you've got anything useful to say.
Okay, so we'll talk to Stonemason Kith.
It shall be done.
How peculiar. Smooth face, cobbled edges. They're a sign. They must be. A sun dweller in these parts. Look here, my topside friend. I need fresh eyes, and I doubt I'll find fresher. The rock, the rubble, all of it, if I may be so bold. Take a look. Tell me what you see, and be thorough.
Okay, so now we have some checks that we're going to go through here to be able to look at what's happening around here. So first is a history check. This is why you want Gale. He's got proficiency and his intelligence. It's a DC of 10. We've got a 7. We can add in guidance.
The statue's meandering curves and golden edges stand out against the weathered masonry behind it. 2 styles, 2 eras. The statue was carved from newer stone and erected by latecomers to this ancient fortress.
Anything standing out?
Okay, so now we can do an investigation check.
Boulders and stone bricks of various sizes clutter the corridor, many split cleanly in 2, yet some walls remain fully intact. No quake brought these rocks down. They were smashed through in an instant. Something big charged through here. Something very big.
What do you think?
Okay, and then last is this perception check, and here we don't have any bonuses except for guidance. We need to roll a 4, and we didn't.
Nothing odd catches your eye.
Okay, so you only get 1 chance at those.
Yes,
The rubble. Oh, it was a great beast that tore these walls down. I should have known. The statue is newer than the fortress, you say? So obvious in hindsight. Alas, you've left me with more questions than answers. My survey continues.
Okay, if you don't finish all 3, you don't get the bonus out of it. But
Let's see what you've got.
at the end of the day, he is still a trader. So we'll go ahead with Gale here and start unloading all of these items that we don't need in our inventory. So nothing special, just getting rid of everything until he runs out of gold. Okay. We don't have anything here that we want, and again, nothing on Astarion that we want to get rid of. And we can get rid of Gale's pouch here. And the map. Okay, so that's it. So looking at what he has to offer here, he's got a violin, but then everything else, not so much. So I think we're done here. All right.
What brought it down, you think?
So now we have a couple of different ways to go here. And heading up this way, leads you into the final encounter, so to speak, with the Duergar. And we don't want to necessarily do that yet. So we're going to head away from this, with the exception of one thing. We are going to head up here and quickly talk to somebody. Right up here. But we're not going to make our way into the main room over here.
Seen her run with a barrel under her arm. Just a small one, but enough to blow the drow out. Someone should grab it. Slaves are never gonna manage with pickaxes.
Can't go chasing maybes. The sergeants are ticket in.
Or would you look at that, Kerr? Someone's having a listen.
A shiver runs through you. Your mind is awash with ancient resentments.
True soul, no less. What do you think, Kerr? Should we take Nere's debt off him? Yet you got that twat soul stench. If I didn't know better, I'd say a mind flayer shat a worm in your brain. Should split your head open and poke around in there if you lot don't pay up.
The shiver returns. This time it's colder, sharper.
The stench don't lie. You're one of them.
Okay, so we have some options here for deception. DC of 10. We can add in guidance. Wow. It's been a day.
The slightest of breezes slips through your skull.
Ain't fooling me. Only you absolutely could get my mind wobbling. Time we took our due. Your blade ready, Kerr?
Drop it, Britvar. You chop this one, and Nere won't pay a damn copper.
Crack. Get you gone, before I get you gone.
Okay, so that didn't go how I wanted it to go.
Off with you. Private conversation. You gone barmy? I hear the ears are first to go. Whatever you think you heard, you thought wrong.
Drugnin outsiders, you've got no business here.
Okay, so that's going to make the final encounter much, much harder. So, wow, we're getting some great rolls today. I really like it. Okay, so we're going to make our way down here, and again, most of these are going to be marked as steel.
Have a lot on my mind. And, well...
The walls are deep gnome make. Well, the chiseling is remarkably intricate.
Okay, you can have an interesting conversation with the deep Rothe here if you want to use animal speaking or change into wild shape. I'm not going to, doesn't really matter that much for me. So we do have some camp supplies here that we'll send off. Nothing much though. Okay, and then we have some skeletons we can search. The skeletons have a Dark Justiciar mask and some Dark Justiciar armor. So these are interesting, but for now we're just going to pick them up. And this is Dark Justiciar mail. We do have a journal here that we can read.
As you look at the skeletons, you realize they are all clad in the same dark armor.
Look at those uniforms. They must have belonged to some kind of sect.
Boy, it's just a whole day of failed rolls.
You see nothing special, just torn and faded velvet tunics.
Yes, there's not much we can do for dusty old soldiers. Let's get moving.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and keep searching here. A scimitar and some more damaged mail. So let's look at what we've picked up. So we did pick up some Dark Justiciar mail. This is medium armor. It's an armor class of 13, so it's not nearly as good as, say, scale mail +1 or something like that. However, it does have the Night Singer's reply. So, while obscured by shadow, the wearer deals 1d4 necrotic damage to attackers that hit them with a melee attack. So, if you're obscured and you get hit with a melee attack, your armor is going to push back 1d4 necrotic damage to the enemy that struck you. So, can be interesting if you're going to be in shadows a lot or something like that. So, however, our Astarion is light armor proficient only, not medium armor proficient. If you want to be more role-playing aspect, remember that Shadowheart is a member of the Sharan religion, so her wearing this Dark Justiciar mail and the Dark Justiciar mask is a very RP thing to do. But for me, there's no real purpose for it. It's just something we can sell off later on. We do have one more up here. And again, just picking that up so that it can be sold later on. So now we can come around here to this side. Holding Alt, there's a wooden chest back here. Okay, it just appears to be locked, not trapped. Okay, so now we picked up picked up a hand crossbow, a light crossbow +1, and a war pick.
The crossbow was exquisitely designed. The Duergar crafted this. Its dark grace is most definitely Sharan in origin.
Okay, so you learn a little bit here that that crossbow's a Sharan crossbow. We're going to continue searching some of these items around here. And you can see that we've got a scrying eye that keeps following us around. Okay, we've got a heavy crossbow. Some rotten mushrooms that we don't need to pick up. Another hand crossbow. And a light crossbow. Okay, so looking at the hand crossbows. So a hand crossbow, right now, Astarian's using a light crossbow +1, which is 1d8 +5 for him. And that light crossbow takes up both hands. You can see it's a two-handed weapon. If we remove it, we have two hand crossbows. So now he can dual wield these. So now it's 1d6 +4 in each hand if he chooses to do a ranged attack. So light crossbow or hand crossbows are better for him to utilize than the light crossbow +1. So that light crossbow +1 can now go here
Let me work my magic.
to Gale, and that just straight ups his damage. Okay, and we'll see if he can carry these. He can. Okay.
All right. What now?
What's on your mind?
So, yes, looking at the crate here. So now we're going to move our way around here. See that we have a book. Also a backpack that we can search for some gold. And then just holding around here, we've got a couple other things that we can search.
Find a way forward.
And that's really about it. Okay. So now, making our way down here, you can see that we can overlook this area over here. And you see we've got some chests down here in this location. We also have... We can climb down here. There's a chasm creeper that we will have Gale pick up.
The magic touch.
Okay, and then we're gonna, once everybody finishes their pathing dance up and down the wall, we're gonna toggle the group and we're gonna bring Astarian down here.
Yes, let's.
And see if he can make the jump over here. He can. So you can see we have a locked heavy chest, and it's trapped. So we're going to disarm this. And remember, we don't have any inspirations, so if he fails this, the trap's going to go off. Okay? So again, all we can fail it with is a 2 or a nat 1. Or I guess just a nat 1, and that's it. Okay, and now we can lockpick it. If you fail a lockpick, you can just use another set of thieves' tools to try and open it. Okay, so we have some gold here. Set of thieves' tools, which we don't need. So Gale will just sell those. And the real Sparky Sparks wall. So we'll go over that here in a second. We'll bring Astarian back over here and we will jump him back across.
At least things have stayed interesting.
And now we'll make our way back up here. Okay. So what did we pick up with the Sparks Wall? So the Sparks Wall is a shield that has the Lightning Aura class action. The Lightning Aura class action is that whenever you activate it, you consume 4 lightning charges and release a blast of electricity in a 6-meter radius that damages and jolts nearby enemies. So when they're jolted, they take 1d4 lightning damage each turn, and they can't take reactions. Okay? So, in other words, anyone standing inside of that area is going to then take damage, assuming that you have lightning charges. Now, again, we don't have a way to generate lightning charges on us right now, because we've kind of foregone lightning charges because we didn't get the opportunity to get a weapon to be able to allow us to do it more often. So in our case, it's not really all that great an option. However, if you're using a shield, it is a great shield to use anyway. So we have a +3 armor class from this. We're carrying +2 right now. So if we move this over here, I'm just going to rearrange. Okay, so I can't carry that there. So my armor class is 18. Now my armor class is 19. Just because of the increase in that shield. So even if you can't use Lightning Aura because you don't have lightning charges, having the additional +1 bonus is nice. So, okay, so we're finished up here. So we will continue to head through this walkway over here. And you can see from the map that we have some NPCs on the map that are non-hostile. We are going to take another potion of animal speaking here. Yes. I was just thinking how I wanted to play it, but yes, we are going to do this. All of these are marked steel.
Leaves, like on trees, up on the surface. Forget it.
Let's talk to the deep Rothe first.
Grab a cane and whip these Drugnin beasts into shape. That rubble needs clearing, and my patience is hanging on by an arse whisker. Oh yeah, maybe say pretty please as well. Throw in a curtsy. That'd be soft. Something spooks the dumb shits. So stop your jawing and get to working. You got no need to know, and I got no need to tell. So get to caning or to leaving.
Okay, so we have a persuasion and an investigation check here that we can make. Neither one are very favorable to us. But we only needed a 5.
A slight glint catches your eye.
Okay, now we can also call on the parasite. We said we were going to do that as much as we could.
You're one of Nere's, eh? Don't go bursting those head veins. I ain't joined your bat-brained cult.
Okay, so now we can go ahead and focus on the glint again with another investigation check. This one, again, is only a 5 DC, but we have no modifiers to help us. And we just barely passed.
Your eye finds the source of the gleam. A small mote of black metal. Adamantine.
Stuff's no joke. Stronger than steel. Rarer than mithril. It ain't mined. It's made. There's an adamantine forge back there, sure as shitting. Don't get any smart ideas. That forge is clan property. But get the beasts moving and I'll toss some coin your way. Go on then. Light a fire under the buggers.
Okay.
Forge is mentioned.
So we found out what's through this cave in here, so we're going to talk to the Deep Rothe now that we have animal speaking.
No more. No more pain, no more work. All must die.
Okay. So we have some persuasion checks again.
Oh, death. Fire. I can smell it. It is too much. Too much. Anger. I can't hold it in. You're just like them. Won't let you push me around. Any of you!
Okay. So as soon as this happens, the Rothe turn hostile. Okay. So we are kind of on the side of the Duergar here against the Rothe. So what I'm actually going to do is keep my distance here.
Unleash me. Of course.
I have no idea where Astarion is. Why is he still way back here? Oh, why was he not in the group? Interesting. Well, I'm going to bring him up here. I'll just keep him back a little bit anyway.
Battle of wits.
Okay, so my turn, so I'm going to, again, kind of keep my distance here. Okay, and you see what's happening is that the Rothe are definitely holding their own here. Because as soon as they knock them off into these voids, they die. And that's kind of what you want to avoid here with this fight. Because if you're standing all the way in there and you get knocked off into this void here, that can cause you a serious problem.
Witching hour.
Okay. So now it's all finished.
The hell's wrong with you, drooping hoon? Shit for brains. All that adamantine within reach. You done screwed me over.
Okay, so now he's going to turn hostile. But now we are kind of back out of the way. And we are completely and totally in control of this engagement here. So, first thing I'm going to do is move in here and... Actually, let's start with Astarion. See if I can dash. And looking at how he's facing, his detection cone is probably out to here. So let's see if we can make our way over here.
Over here.
See if we can hide.
On the hunt.
We are outside of his detection cone. And we'll get a sneak attack ranged here. Okay, so we must have saved against Bane. Okay, so now we'll move over here with Gale. We want to keep him kind of out of attack range, so to speak. So from here, I think we'll just cast Magic Missile. Okay, and now he's left with 10 hit points.
What now?
And now for me, I can move in here. Let's see if... Okay, so Thorn Whip's not going to move him anywhere from there. Yeah, it's not going to move him very much. Oh, it will knock him down through that pit, though. Oh, it didn't knock him through the pit. I was hoping it would, but it didn't. So now he's going to have a chance to attack. I'm going to move back out of the way.
Spill some blood.
Okay, so he's dashing. That's good. Okay, so now Lae'zel can just come up behind him and just bash him. Okay, so we let the Rothe do most of the work there. You can convince the Rothe not to attack. So, be careful, you've got a scrying eye over here that's, like I say, looking around. So if you do search the headmaster here, you want to do it while it's not looking at you. And you can figure that out by its detection cones here. Okay, so we've got some scale mail, some camp supplies. And some adamantine slag that does not do anything in early access yet. There's no purpose for it in the game yet that I can see. So we're going to come up here, we're going to toggle the group, and we're going to take Lae'zel, and we're going to bring her up here. And you can search the Rothe, they don't have anything on them. And none of the other Duergar are still up here. They all got knocked off, so what we're going to do is look at her items, and we're going to take one of these smoke powder satchels. We're going to throw it here. And then we're going to move back out of the way. And we're going to have Gale cast his Firebolt cantrip at the smoke powder satchel.
Good find.
Okay, so that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see if we can move this, because I can't see the smoke powder satchel. There it is. It's kind of hidden underneath the deep Rothe, so
very well.
I need to be able to target it. Okay, so right there. Okay, so that caused 26 damage. And you can see it lights an area on fire. That's the problem with the satchel.
Onward.
Okay, so now if you use the smoke powder bomb, it explodes on impact but does not create a fire rubble or a fire surface here. So keep that in mind as you're going through the rest of the encounters around here. So for now, I think we're going to leave that area untouched. We've opened it up. We can come back to it. I think what we're going to do is go deal with the main area of this quest, or of this section. And we're going to have a heck of a fight on our hands.
Who's the statue, you think?
Okay. So you can move up here, and again, we can now come down this crag rock area. And we'll deal with this one section here before we deal with the main quest area. So first you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 wooden chests down here. I'm going to put everybody in hiding. I'm going to split the group, and I'm going to take Astarion. And you can see we have a symbol down here on the ground. And if you hold Alt,
This is a harper rune. There must be a stockpile nearby.
Okay, so that's a Harper's rune.
No, the Harpers are too smart for that.
Okay, and it said that Harpers would not leave their stash out in plain sight. It's giving you a hint that you probably don't want to go right for these chests. Okay, so we're going to make our way down here. You see that there's a toy chest here. We failed our perception check. Okay.
What's that?
So we passed our perception check there. So now we're going to try this. Well,
I see you, shapeshifter.
okay. So she said that she got close enough to detect and pass the perception check that this wooden chest is not what you think it is.
That is not what it seems. I see you, shapeshifter.
Okay. So now we can click on the toy chest here. And there it reveals the Harper stash in the middle. If we come up here.
That is not what it seems. I see you, shapeshifter.
Okay, so now we can come back up here. We can put her into hiding again. And we can take Astarion back down here toward the Harper stash.
Stepping softly.
Okay, now you can see that it's trapped. So we need to do a disarm first. It's a DC of 20. Okay, and again, we don't have any inspirations left, so if we fail this, that trap is going to go off. Got a good roll there. So now we can lockpick it.
Challenge.
Another DC of 20. And now we can open it. And there's some gold. There's a bloodstone. And there's a scroll of evidence that you can read. And it talks about, this is again a note from the Harpers saying that the Harpers and the Emerald Enclave has been brought into being, and that they are going to be fighting against Ketheric Thorm, Paladin of Shar. So it gives you some lore and backstory in things that are going to be happening later on, especially in the full version inside the city of Baldur's Gate and that sort of stuff. Now again, the wooden chests here, we know what they are. Okay. So we know that they're shapeshifters. So these are actually mimics, and we can actually have this fight. So
let's keep to the shadows.
Let's not get caught off guard.
We're going to go out here. We're going to wild shape.
Never wanted the easy path.
Okay, and we're going to go down here and we're going to concentrate on just this one here. And we're going to quote-unquote search it. Okay, and you can see that they've turned into mimics. Okay, so that's interesting. Huh. Interesting. So, the mimics are fighting against Jorval, but I don't know if it's just caught in a dialogue option box. It says I'm speaking, but I'm not speaking. This should just be a regular fight encounter here. So I'm anxious to find out what's happened here, but I should be able to, again, move within range, and if I cast a fireball here, that's going to get all 3 of the mimics. Okay. So this is very, very strange. The game might have glitched out here. Because it doesn't let you access the characters to fight. Because it says that they're in battle, quote unquote. Even though they're obviously... or it says they're in a conversation, not in battle, which is very, very weird. So, see if we can get rid of one of these here. So I'm going to move up. Okay, so there's disadvantage there. We don't want that. Okay, so let's see if we can kill this mimic. Okay, so now it's... I was hoping that was going to happen. If we killed the mimic that I originally interacted with, it would take us back into a more standard battle mode. And that's exactly what happened. So now we can maneuver ourselves around back behind the other 2 mimics here with Lae'zel. We should be able to do this without crossing into the detection cones. So now with an 18 here, we're just going to go in. Okay, so now there's only 1 mimic left. And it might still be glitched. Well, we'll see. It says that there's the turn counter is going. I don't know if, like I say, the thing is going to be glitched out here. So we'll wait just a second here and see if the mimic turn actually ends or not. And if it doesn't, then it's just glitched out. And there's not going to be much that we can do about it. Okay, so let's see if... Okay. So I think this whole thing is just glitched out because for some reason this went into conversation mode and not battle mode. So now this mimic is not moving at all. There's no other actions that I can take. So with any of my characters, no. So I think this whole thing is just glitched out now. So, not a whole lot of choice here, it looks like. So, our last quick save was before we went up to have the conversations upstairs, it looks like. So, we're just going to have to reload it and go from there. That's a shame that it glitched out at that point. That's very interesting. I'm not sure if it was for some reason because I was in wild shape when I made the encounter, but the mimics, when they appear, they don't talk to you anyway. They just go into in a straight combat encounter. So it's very, very strange that it glitched out like that, but don't really have a choice. So we're just going to have to go through and fly through a bunch of this stuff that we have already done. and kind of get us back where we were. So let's head back over here.
They don't have the imagination.
We're not going to go through this encounter again. Let's just head back over to this area where we know what happened down here. So instead, I will redo all of that off camera because we're going to end up back over there after Nere's encounter anyway. So we will head back up here. Up here at the top, you can see that we have another access to an area up here that overlooks this main central spot here. Keep that in mind because it's going to be useful. Okay, and we can come up here. And again, we have some options here on how to work this encounter. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is, well, let's just bring everybody in here first, and then we'll talk about how we want to play this. Okay, because the main portion of the encounter is up here.
Another scrying eye.
And that's with Sergeant Thrinn. We've heard a little bit about Thrinn here and there.
Faster! Heat up some rocks! Let's see how the little pricks do when we strap fire to their legs.
Charming. Hell is truly where we make it.
Move, Hoon! I don't have time for Drugnan outsiders.
Okay, so the Boots of Speed, this is new in this patch, I think. The Boots of Speed that we picked up evidently belonged to her. So we could give those Boots of Speed back to her. That might be rather interesting, just to see how the playthrough would go. Because I believe... Do we have the Boots of Speed still on us? We don't. It wasn't the Boots of Striding. It was definitely the Boots of... Oh, they're the Boots of Speed. So they're Gale's wearing them. Okay. That's not really... He doesn't really need to wear them. So if we give up the Boots of Speed, it's not that big a deal here. So that might be actually kind of interesting. Let's do that.
Never thought I'd see these back. Nasty sneak gave even Gek the slip. Crafty little shits, these ones. You need a stiff cane to keep them in line. Here then. His bounty's yours. Now move! I've got no time for...
The parasite stirs, but it's a mere tickle. You hear no thoughts or memories, just an echo of scars that never healed.
A true soul, eh? Useless rack of a lookout could have told me. Glad you're here to take responsibility. Tunnels collapsed. Trapped true soul Nere. He's stuck in there with poisoned geezers. We don't get him out soon, it's both our heads.
The famous Nere. Subject of the Myconid's ire, no?
Place is older than bone dust. Previous tenants left a trap. Dropped a shit ton of metal once we dug a ways in. Get Nere out, and you'll have the Absolute's blessing. No doubting that. Entrance to an ancient temple. General's orders, Nere said. Must contain something important. He got me to recruit non-believers. But not everyone's seeing the Absolute's truth. They don't get paid soon. I'll have a riot on my hands. Not a one. Unless you count tacking aboleth fangs to my whipping cane. That's so. Set it near the rubble and ignite it. That'll blow the drow out.
Okay, so I guess we get a reward for finding the missing boots. So either the robust chain shirt or the bracing band. So let's see what these are. So the robust chain shirt, when a wearer has 50% hit points or less and is damaged, they deal piercing damage back to the attacker. It's medium armor with just a 13 armor class. Or you've got the bracing band, which is after shoving an enemy, the wearer gains +1 to their armor class until the next turn. Neither one of them are great, but I'm definitely never going to use the robust chain shirt. Okay, so if we look at that, the only person who's going to be shoving anybody is Lae'zel.
Back on your feet or I'll bite your toes off one by one.
So might as well utilize that for her.
Peel your balls like potatoes if you don't move.
So if we move up here close.
And you better hope that's the worst of it.
As you near the rubble, a fragmented voice clutches at your mind.
The true soul. True soul. Finally. You must clear rubble, spilling poison. Expedition. Passage trapped. The gnomes useless. Don't trust Burks. Get me out.
The view through Nere's eyes is a blur. You only make out a bit of rubble and few moving figures. Blur resolves into an image. 2 gnomes feverishly removing debris, while 2 others lie dead at Nere's feet, their flesh scorched by powerful magic. You sense Nere's frustration, tinged with rage, as the connection fades.
Okay.
Clean up this mess.
So, in here, what you really want to do is we're going to bring everybody kind of back here.
Things could always get worse for you.
And we're going to split the group, and we're going to bring Lae'zel right up here near the front. And all we're going to do is split the smoke powder satchels, and we're going to drop this item on the ground. Now when you do that, everyone scatters back out of the way. Now we don't necessarily want to use the smoke powder satchel for this.
What are you waiting for?
We're going to use a smoke powder bomb for it. Okay, so I guess we need to leave that item on the ground.
What are you waiting for?
Okay. So we're going to leave that on the ground there just to keep everybody back away from this area. And now we are going to move everybody out of this area entirely, with the exception of Astarion and Jorval. Okay. So we're going to bring Lae'zel out here as well. We're going to put Gale into hiding. We're going to put Lae'zel into hiding. We are going to wild shape here.
What are you waiting for?
Okay. And then we are going to take Lae'zel, and we're going to split off one of these smoke powder bombs, and we're going to give that to Astarion. Okay, and now Astarion is going to throw that smoke powder bomb toward this cave-in as soon as everybody gets out of the way. Okay, and it wasn't enough to kill it, or wasn't enough to break it apart. We do not want them walking around in those flames. Okay, so now we will split off another one. Give that to Astarion. And again, we will have Astarion throw this smoke bomb here. As soon as everybody gets out of the way.
Finally! Baldur, can you hear me? Baldur! Finally. Worthless slaves! Your incompetence has been my ruin! It is not.
You care for the weak, true soul. Most curious. You heed an overgrown toadstool, yet defy a true soul. Thrinn, carve out his heart and serve it to the Rothe. If he indeed is a true soul, let the Absolute save him.
Okay, now this fight is not going to be easy.
I see your idiocy is surpassed only by your ego. Duergar, this true soul has betrayed us. Let his blood prove your devotion.
Okay, and we rolled horribly on initiative. Absolutely horribly. So the question is, are we even going to survive this? Okay, it doesn't look like we're going to, so we need to get Gale in here. Okay. Alright, so the fighting is stopped. We're down out here. We need to get this fighting, or get this started here. So let's go, let's see if we can go into hiding here with Gale. Yes, we can, which is good. We're going to try and make our way up here on top, I believe. Because I don't think we have any other way to get around. Now, there is a patrolling Duergar over here that you want to be careful for, because they are going to make their way up here, and their detection cones will overlap this area. Okay, so now they're gone. So we'll try and make our way up here now.
Let's
We'll try and stay out of these detection cones. Try and make our way to a point where we can cast Fireball down here. So let's see if we can cast Fireball from here. Okay, and looks like that's going to get everybody. He's going to have to move to cast it, so we'll hope that he does not get into a detection cone here. Okay. So that caused a lot of damage, but it's not nearly enough. We need to cause a lot more damage here. And you can see the detection cones are not kind to getting Lae'zel in here without being seen. So I think what we're going to have to do is just bring her up top up here.
Light steps.
I lost sight of Mithras, so hopefully he's not coming up here. It doesn't look like he is. So what we definitely need to do is get rid of Drawer here. And if we can do a pushing attack on Drawer, that's going to knock him down there. Okay. So that's about all we can do. Gale is going to be up fairly quickly in the attack rotation. So hopefully we'll be able to get another fireball off here fairly quickly. But there's going to be a lot of attacks between now and then. Okay, so my druid is dead. Okay, so here's Gale again. Let's see if we can thin some of this out a little bit. We don't want to target the gnomes. Okay, so we've thinned out the crowd quite a bit. But we are still not out of the woods. Okay, so we're going to move Gale kind of back out of the way over here a little bit.
Swiftly now.
Because now it's a while until either Astarion or Lae'zel are going to get a chance to attack.
Heretic! Never have come.
Okay, so now we have Lae'zel and then Gale, who's going to be coming back up. So we're going to come up here and again try and move Thrinn off the top here. So we're going to again do a pushing attack. Okay, so we killed her outright. So let's move down here and get off another attack on Mind Master Von Mara down here. Okay, so we'll do a menacing attack here. Alright, left him with only one hit point. So we are going to Pommel Strike. Okay, so now we can action surge. That's not going to get us a whole lot of benefit though. We have 3 that are left, including Nere, but we're not going to be able to kill Nere with a ranged attack. Dalthar over here is completely unfazed. And I don't know where... Oh, yeah. And Stoneguard Kerr over here still has half their hit points, not enough that we'd be able to kill. So we'll save the action surge for now. Okay, so now Gale can move back up. And let's see what options we have now. So not a whole lot of range. They're out of range for a lot of people. Okay, so good. She moved out of the way. So now we can move up here and let's kind of see what we have. So focusing on Nere would be great, but there's nothing that we have that's going to be able to kill Nere in one shot. We would like to be able to take somebody out completely, though. So let's try and take out Stoneguard Kerr next. Okay, so we did manage to take him out. So now there's only 2 attacks that we're going to get. So let's weather this storm and... Well, let's see if we can move Gale back a little bit. We can. Good. That might keep him out of line of sight. And now we'll end the turn here. Okay, so we need to end this fight as quick as we can here because we now have a new combatant that's joined into the fight. Murthas moved up here and saw what was happening, so we need to... It would be very helpful if we could get Astarion back up. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a potion of speed. We're going to do a menacing attack here. And hope this hits. It's only 50-50. Okay. Let's do another main hand attack with my extra attack here. Alright, and that ended Nere. So now let's move up here and help Astarion up. Okay, we will make our way over here. We will action surge. We're throwing everything we have into offense here. Okay, we missed. We will take our extra attack. And we got a crit. Okay. So we threw everything we had into offense there. We will take our second wind and see if we can survive this. Because Astarion only has 1 hit point left. And Lae'zel only has 13. Okay, so Gale's turn is next. So I think what we're probably going to do is bring Gale down low here.
Good move.
And we will now cast Magic Missile on Dalthar and remove him. Okay. So now it's just Murthas left, and we're going to move Gale kind of back underneath here, out of line of sight from above.
This is good.
Okay, so for Astarion, we are definitely going to dash first. Okay, so Murthas is over here, so we're going to get Astarion again into kind of a point over here where he's out of line of sight. And that's the goal here. I don't think... Well, we might be able to put him back into hiding with the way the detection cones are.
Let's find some
Yes, we can. Okay. So now Mirthas turned invisible. Great. So we're going to take 2 potions of healing here. And we're going to move Lae'zel back up top. See if we can trigger an attack here from Mirthas. Because Mirthas is now invisible. Okay, we're going to leave Gale down here.
There goes my equilibrium.
With Astarion, we're just going to take a healing potion. And Mirthas has now revealed herself. So now we can move in, and that was probably the worst thing that Mirthas could have done, but she really didn't have a choice. So we're going to do a lacerate attack. Now we're going to get a bonus attack. Interesting. I wonder where our main hand attack is. Okay. And we missed. And now our extra attack. Alright, so that ends it.
One true way.
Okay, so we got an inspiration back. We're gonna move everybody up here
I'm sure.
with Lae'zel.
Now what? Tread carefully.
Please. No. Man.
Beldron, are you alright?
Okay, and we can group everybody up who's still remaining, and we will head back down here. And we will talk to the gnomes that are down here. So, let's talk to Beldron.
Beldron! I was so worried. Did Nere hurt you?
No, I'm all right. Did the sergeant hurt you?
Oh, who cares? We're together now, thank Iron Hand.
We ought to thank someone a little closer by, I think. Gale Ironhand you may not be, but you damn well fight like him. I'm grateful, don't mistake me, but why help us? You're one of them, aren't you? Glittering gods! I should have known that one was too damn stubborn to die. Here. The Iron Hand gnomes honor their debts. With Wulbren gone, that falls to me.
Make it quick. We need to find Wulbren. Now!
You're a little late, Barkus, my lad. He's already been sent to Moonrise Towers. We were just slave hands to the cult, but not Wulbren. He knows things. Things they want to know, too.
What has he gotten himself mixed up in now?
Okay, so we do have a persuasion check that we can make here. We can throw in guidance.
You'll call me mad, but fine. Wulbren's found the formula for rune powder.
What?
Aye. The explosive of Gale Ironhand's own creation. Fistfuls, wiping out armies. All those old stories. Only Wulbren couldn't leave the stories be, so he went and bloody found it. A small supply, tucked away down here with a manuscript. He just made sense of the formula when the cult jumped us, so he burned the damn thing. If there's a single copy left, it's sitting in his head. Those absolutists pull it out and make rune powder, they could flatten the whole of the Sword Coast. You really would, wouldn't you? But not us. My people can barely stand, and we have business back in the city. That business is what sent us after the powder to begin with. Now, we'll have to make other arrangements.
And just like that, you'd leave Wulbren behind. I knew you lot were foolish, but I didn't know you were cruel.
If you knew half as much as you think, my lad, Wulbren might have kept you around.
And neither will this twit, apparently.
My people will find somewhere to regroup across the lake, then onto the city. If you find yourself in Baldur's Gate, seek us out. We'll raise a glass to Wulbren together.
Okay, so it's very easy for the gnomes to die or to get caught up in the conflict. So you have to be very careful during all of that encounter to make sure that you don't damage any of them, because they will either turn hostile or, at the worst, or they will just get caught up in the fight and end up dying. So, but while we're here, we have a few things to look at. So first, I'm going to split this group, and I'm going to come in here with Astarion. Okay, if you come up close in here, you can see that we have a poison cloud and we have some double oak doors up here. And this poison cloud is giving you a chance to get poisoned. And you can look at WotC here, who's marked as steel. So I'm going to move in here past the detection cone. And I'm going to search WotC. WotC just has some gold here. Okay. So we have a chance to move in here and get poisoned out of this. I don't know, however, because you and I are exploring this for the first time, what happens if I bring Gale and his firebolt in here, if this poison cloud is flammable. It is not. Okay. So let's do this then. Let's search everybody out here. All of the dead Duergar here. We will search all of these Duergar. We will then head back to
Let's have a look.
To our camp, and we will get our Druid back.
Not right.
We'll raise her back there.
Sorry, it was over in a flash. They're at peace.
And then we will come back here and finish exploring some of that.
I can't bear to think about
Okay. So, Potion of Healing, she definitely needs a new one.
We're together. No, that's what matters.
More camp supplies. And then we do have an Elder's Journal here, which we can read.
You're covered in dust.
Just talks about the fact that that of what they're doing in here, that they're upset with the whole mercenary thing and Nere and all of that sort of stuff, and not too happy. Like I say, not too happy about the whole situation anyway.
I wouldn't have it any other way. No.
Okay, so we do have some more camp supplies in here. And we have another over here to search. The Arrow of Thunder will go to Astarion. The rest of it we can just pick up. Okay, so now now Lae'zel is encumbered. We do have another camp supply that we can send off here. And Astarion still has some carry space here. Okay, so now we'll have Astarion start, and we will take a short rest to get our hit points back while we're walking around out here. We don't need it for any other purpose right now. So as far as these go, it looks like we're cleared out. So let's go searching around here now. So we have a devil foil mask here, which is worth quite a bit to sell.
A curious mask. You don't need explorers. We're together.
Okay.
A miracle mask.
So just a regular mask, like I say, worth quite a bit. Looks kind of interesting, but that's it. So looking also around in here, we can now search all of these crates.
Is that a bruise there? No.
Stop fussing, it's nothing, I swear.
Okay, we can send the Warhammer over to Lae'zel.
It's my job. I wouldn't
Great
have
sword.
it any other way.
Heavy crossbow. And some camp supplies.
Peldron.
Oh, he drank one.
Lunkbug. Better now that I'm with you.
Send to camp.
God.
Okay. So that does happen sometimes. The deleterious effects of the alcohol wear off pretty fast, so it's not that big a deal if they do accidentally drink one. And now we can lockpick this chest. DC of 10, only in that one. Okay, so we do have a deed of ownership here that you can read. And this is interesting in that the Iron Hand Gnomes have declared possession of the tunnels and contents of the Underdark. Okay, so it's kind of interesting that you see all of this. That was obviously usurped by the Duergar when they came in and took things over.
Did they?
But again, kind of interesting. So we'll now head up here to the top, and we'll have a couple more to search up here. Sergeant Thrinn's up here. We can send this to camp. We get our Boots of Speed back, which is interesting, because now those can go right back to Gale, where they were previously. I don't know if we can send any of this. Oh, we can. That's probably a bug. Sending it to dead individuals to free up carry weight. And then we will search Mirthus here. Okay, and again, he is encumbered. So this here should free it up. Okay. So now what we're going to do is just take a long rest.
He did this
and we will get our Druid back.
Assume nothing.
Hello again.
So Jorval died here. You can pick things up off of her body. However, we do have a scroll of Revivify here. The scrolls of Revivify, as well as the scroll of True Resurrection, which we have over here. Well, we have it somewhere. Did it get rid of... No, there it is. Okay, I was like, wait, there's no way it got rid of that. As well as the Scroll of True Resurrection, they're better used when you're in the middle of combat. That way you can use those scrolls to resurrect somebody while you're in combat. If you're out of combat, it's better just to take a long rest.
You don't need to. We're together.
Okay, that's interesting. Saying I can't fast travel right now to my camp. Let's just move over here and try it. Okay, interesting. I would prefer not to have to use that, but I might have to because it's my main character. So, we've got plenty of scrolls to revivify, so we'll just go use one over here. Okay. So, we do have... We don't want to use the Scroll of True Resurrection.
Man, it can't be.
We want to use a Scroll of Revivify. This is going to resurrect her.
Let's move.
Since we are going to be... taking a long rest anyway. Might as well just use all of her spell slots just to heal her back up. Okay. And now we can see if she has dropped a bunch of items on the ground here. So, the Staff of Arcane Blessing, it looks like. Yes, that did get dropped.
Baldur, are you alright?
Okay. So, nothing else down here. We've got a glaive we can pick up. A great club here. We have Slaver's Inventory, which I think I looked at, right?
Shh. Put it out of your
Okay, didn't.
I'm here now.
And now, let's see where we are with carry weight. So, Gale still has a lot of carry weight available to him. And it's probably a little bit too much.
Nere and WotC, did they
That's probably good, yep.
suffer?
So now we can have Gale search, and we do have some...
Peace now. Praise Iron Hand.
Okay, so maybe he can pick up some of
I
these.
can't bear to think about it.
So, doesn't look like it. So let's search some of these other items down here. There are some pickaxes we could pick up, but we don't need to. Okay, so let's go over and search Nere.
The decaying corpse lies before you.
Okay, so it's going to be a strength check, so we don't want to do that. So we'll have Lae'zel do this.
Stop fussing.
The decaying corpse lies before you.
Okay, so we'll do a strength check with her. We'll add in guidance as well. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. The rolls. The rolls. Well, we've got an inspiration. We're going to use it.
The head breaks off cleanly from the drow's body.
Okay, so now we can search Nere's body.
It's not right.
And we can just take everything here. We'll explain all of this.
An object catches your eye. A lantern, it seems. Though no light flickers within.
The light's been snuffed out. Only ash at the bottom.
Okay, so we can do an investigation check here.
You see no burner or wick. It was not fuel that lit this lamp, but magic.
Okay, we can also have an Arcana check because we have a lot of bonuses to Arcana here. So we can only fail this with a 1.
This is pixie dust, used to illuminate a lamp, or left behind after a pixie's death.
Okay, so we're going to go through all these items after we take our long rest. Let's see if we can take a long rest now.
Is that a bruise?
I think we searched everybody. Yes, we have. So let's see if we can take a long rest. Yes, we can.
I'm your...
Okay, so here we can just quickly check. We probably don't have any more
Speak quickly.
conversations that need to be had, but we'll check anyway.
What's on your mind?
Okay, so nothing for Gale or
May the
Lae'zel.
darkness protect you.
Nothing here.
What can I do for you, my friend?
Okay, and last is Will.
Well met.
Okay, so yes, as expected, nothing there. So let's go look at our inventories real quick and make sure that we don't have any camp supplies on us. I think we do have a few camp supplies here and there. Okay, so I think that's it. There might be one hidden somewhere, but we'll go to our traveler's chest and get out 40 now. Okay, so 6 out of this, so we'd need 6 for 36. So let's split this. And we'll split off 6 of those, so that's 36, and now we need something with 4. Okay. So I don't think it's that hard. We'll just split off a single pair here. And then we'll take this last rogue's morsel here, and that should be 40. Okay, so looks like it's doing some interesting math based upon a couple of things that we still had in our inventory, so we'll get rid of those as soon as we come back out. Okay, so here we are back in the Grymforge, and now the gnomes have left. They are no longer here. So let's get rid of those last couple of camp supplies that we have, and let's unburden Lae'zel. Okay, so that'll work. So we saw that there was a sausage sitting around here somewhere. There was also something that was added to wares and not sent to camp. There's the dried pork sausage, so we'll send that to camp. There's the fish. Okay. So now we can take a look at all the items that we picked up. So we did read this note here, the slaver's inventory. So looks like it's talking about the gnomes. Philomeen was missing. We saw her. She blew herself up, tried to take us with her. Skick Pit, we know where he is, says Sieg Magmar. He's up there at the top. We'll go back and see him in just a second. So, other than that, nothing else that we have, that we really picked up here. So, we picked up the Cap of Wrath. Now, the Cap of Wrath is very similar to the Linebreaker boots in that if we take damage, we're going to gain Wrath. And Wrath is a +1 bonus to our melee damage. So if we dash with our Linebreaker's boots, we gain Wrath. If we take damage, we are also going to gain Wrath. So we would have to give up the Helmet of Grit, which, as we saw, was very, very useful. When we dropped below 50 hit points there, she had 2 bonus actions available to her, and that becomes very useful with the extra attacks that we have. So I think the Helmet of Grit is a much better way to go, but the Cap of Wrath is still certainly powerful. So we picked up a Great Club +1, nothing special. We picked up the Deep Delver. So the Deep Delver is a war pick, which is 1d8. However, it comes with Dig Deep, which inflicts Shattered on hit. So Shattered is an effect that whenever it's inflicted upon somebody, then the Deep Delver is going to do an additional 1d4 piercing damage against targets that have that effect on them. So your first hit's only going to do 1d8, but after that it's going to do 1d8 plus 1d4 to that same target. Compared to 2d6 plus 4 and then 1d4 on top of that, it really doesn't compare to what we're carrying, so it's not really something that we're going to be using. The rest of it is just standard stuff. We did pick up the Spurred Band as well, no, we didn't pick that up. That was what was here previously from the Bracing Band. We don't need momentum when we're already getting it through, we're already getting it through the Crusher's Ring. So looking at other items that we picked up the Disintegrating Nightwalkers. So the Nightwalkers are very interesting because they are a straight upgrade over the Spider Step boots. The Spider Step boots, you're immune to being enwebbed. The Disintegrating Nightwalkers, you can't be enwebbed, you can't be entangled or ensnared, and you can't slip on grease or ice. While at the same time, it grants you Misty Step, which is just awesome for being able to move around. So this would be another option here for Astarion to use. We're not dashing, so we're not gaining the momentum, but you have access to Misty Step instead. Now we have options probably to get momentum back in, so you could change out the Shadow of Menzoberranzan to the Haste Helm to gain that momentum back. However, at this time, I think we're just going to straight change those out and put the Disintegrating Nightwalkers on Astarion. They're just too good of a boot item to pass up. So we did pick up the Sword of Screams. This was on Nere. This is what he was carrying. So the Sword of Screams is a finesse weapon, which is great, and that you can use your dexterity to do its 2 hit rolls. It has the Weeping effect to it, meaning that it deals an additional 1d4 psychic damage. So now we're getting into the point where if we look at Astarion and we look at Weeping, right now he's doing 1d6 plus 4 with a 1d8 piercing damage if the target doesn't or still has all their hit points. And then he's got just a standard 1d6 plus 1 in his offhand. The Sword of Screams is a straight upgrade over that at all times throughout combat. On the first hit, the short sword of First Blood does better, but throughout the rest of the combat, the Sword of Screams does better. So I think we're going to change that out. That means that you can't dual wield anymore. That option is now gone. But I think having that rapier here on Astarion is really good. The Sword of Screams is a great weapon for Will, who normally would be using that, you know, a one-handed weapon on their own anyway. But since we're not having Will in our party, I think we're going to run with the Sword of Screams here on Astarion. We did pick up the Broken Moon Lantern. You're not going to be able to do anything with this in early access, but this is the quest item that's going to allow you to then at some point find pixie dust and use that underground passage over there to get to Moonrise Towers. We just aren't going to be able to do anything with it here in early access. We also picked up the Ring of Absolute Force. This is a ring that just lets you cast Thunderwave at level 1. So right now it's not that great of an item for us to use. It's something that we would just sell off. So for now, let's go ahead and look and see if we have any options here for what's going to happen inside this room. So let's toggle the group and we'll look at our Druid's inventory. And we have an antidote. Okay. So the antidote neutralizes the effects of all poisons. So we have a couple of those. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to move one of those over to Astarion. Here. And then we're going to go to Astarion, and now that antidote is here in his hotbar.
Don't linger.
And we're going to move in here. And see if we can go lockpick this door. We will do a quick save here. Because again, we're doing this the first time with you guys. So we're going to move up here and try and lockpick this. So he saved on his poison. So it's a DC of 10. We're just going to roll real quick. Not a problem. He still passed it. The rolls. Wow. The rolls. Continue. We're going to open up the doors and move him through here. Okay, so we took those. So we're going to do an antidote and get rid of that. Okay, so looking at where we are in here now. This is very interesting. Let's see if we can move him out here. Holding Alt, there's nowhere else to, or nothing else to look at or anywhere to go. Aha! Okay. Very interesting. Now I see what that can do. Okay. So, we do have the Disintegrating Nightwalkers on, so if we expand this out, you can see that he has Misty Step. And it's once per short rest. So I don't even think Misty Step... Oh, Misty Step does get you out here. Okay. But I don't think there's anywhere he can go once he's out here. We do have both of our short rests. So... Gale has a whole bunch of scrolls, so how about we just transfer some of these scrolls over here, or these scrolls over here to Astarion instead.
Don't touch me.
So let's use our items, and we will use a scroll of Misty Step and Misty Step out here.
Impressive looking ruins down there, but well out of reach.
Okay. So... interesting. So he's saying that there is some interesting looking ruins down here, and there definitely are, but he also says that they are well out of reach, and that is definitely true as well. So let's just see if there are any other Misty Step targets around here. doesn't look like there are. Okay, so just looking around here, I know what this is over here. Okay, so I know where that goes, but there's no way from there around. It doesn't appear. You're trying to get down to here. Trying to get down to this spot. So it's interesting. Sorry, I'm just looking around. Like I say, this is the first time I'm exploring this this little section with for myself, so kind of exploring it with you all. Okay, so not enough space, no areas to reach there. Can't get down here anywhere, it doesn't appear. Nothing over here. And yeah, it doesn't appear that we can get down here. Well, it's showing he can move over there. Okay, so that's kind of what I was wondering if it was going to happen or not. Okay, so it just kills you. If you try and Misty Step down into that spot, it puts your corpse in the nearest available spot to get, which is over here inside the ancient temple, which is not where we are going to be yet. So like I say, I was very interested in what that was going to do if I did it. So that's part of this game, that it allows you to click in some places to jump into certain locations and that sort of stuff, but it just instantly kills you when you get there. So it's kind of strange that the game lets you do something like that. But I think at this point it's just trying to keep you from reaching that area. So that is something that we will be dealing with at some point later on, maybe not in the early access, but at some point later on, because there is another way to get into the area behind that door.
Have a lot on my mind.
So
Well,
we're going to group everybody up here, and what we're going to do now is off camera, I'm going to go back and open up all these other areas and go through all of those same things that we had done previously. I'm going to open up the access back into the ancient temple over here, but I'm not going to go through it. I'm going to go deal with the observations and that sort of stuff up here. I'm going to go deal with the mimics and all that sort of stuff and exploring those rooms as well, those rooms over here as well. So I'm going to do all of that off camera, and I will bring us right back to this same spot for next week, and we will pick up our live stream from there. We're going to have a lot to do because we did complete some quests over here. We've rescued the gnomes. We also need to go to Moonrise Tower to find Wulbren and rescue him. So we need to deliver Nere's head back to the Myconids. And it looks like we completed Gale's In Case of Death quest. But we also did complete the Save the Grymforge Gnome quest here. So we should go back and let Thula know. So we need to go back next week and talk to the Myconids. And then we will end up coming back here to do some more explorations through what is going to be the end game here. So I think next week we probably will have enough time to get through the final end of early access. And it'll be our last live stream of the Druid gameplay series. So with that in mind, I would love to hear your comments about what you would like to see the next gameplay character class be focused around. We still have, we've done Ranger, Barbarian, and Druid now. We still obviously have a few left. I would like to concentrate on the non-standard classes, meaning either a Bard or a Paladin, as opposed to your standard Wizard, Rogue, Fighter, Cleric type of characters. But I will leave that to you. So give me some comments below this video, and I will review them all, and we will find out what we'll do for the next live stream, and we'll talk about it next week. So again, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me today. Without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.